Y'all ready for this?
Hello and welcome to this episode of Puck Drop. It is, although we will call it virtual Puck Drop, guys, nice to see you. We are in person, sharing the same roof in Jacob's garage, which we have changed into a fantastic studio. Right behind us, we have a Jesper Bratt signed jersey, number 63, Travis Zajac signed jersey, and then a San Jose Sharks jersey to represent today's episode as we are going to continue with episode 3 of the off-season preview. So Jacob, take it away. Tell us what all we need to know. And first of all, guys, I'd just like to say it's great to finally be back in the studio.
Yeah.
Yep, back in studio. Anyway, let's start off with the same way we started the past 2 episodes. Going over some stats. Timo Meier led the San Jose Sharks in points this year with 49. Evander Kane led the team with goals with 26. Timo Meier just behind him with 22. Mm-hmm. And Erik Karlsson led the team with 34 assists. Brent Burns just behind him with 33. Of course, those are their 2 dynamic offensive defensemen on their blue line.
It's a shame to see a team with so much talent this bad, honestly.
Yeah. Though I will say, I think part of it is to do with injuries. Logan Couture, their best player, missed a large chunk of the year. Tomas Hertl missed half of the season after going to the All-Star game. And Erik Karlsson, of course, was missed a large chunk of the season. Injuries did affect them, but they were just bad.
Yeah, I mean it's a shame because the Sharks once upon a time were Stanley Cup contenders, and now look at them, 3rd worst in the league. But that doesn't change the fact that they have a lot of talent on their hands. They have Evander Kane, who is a great goal scorer, as you can see.
How many times are you going to adjust your mask there, Jordan?
I'm sorry.
It's a little small.
Yeah, it's whatever.
Whatever. It is what it is. Continue.
Yeah. Well, they have a lot of talent. They got Evander Kane. I know Erik Karlsson gets a lot of flack. Well, the Sharks get a lot of flack for trading.
Can I just say, Jordan, you're like, I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm going to restart my sentence. Okay, so the Sharks do have a lot of talent, which, don't get me wrong, they were extremely bad this season. But that doesn't change the fact that they have Evander Kane, Timo Meier, and I know the Sharks get a lot of flack for trading for John Carlson.
Erik Karlsson.
I keep saying John Carlson.
It's the duo.
It's the Carlson duo, but
And they're not even brothers.
they got a lot.
There's also William Karlsson. So many Karlsson.
Oh my
Karlsson, Carlson. Continue.
All right, so the Sharks get a lot of flack for trading for Erik Karlsson.
Good job.
But because of his foot injury, because he isn't the same player that he was in Ottawa. But if we're being real with ourselves, Erik Karlsson is still a pretty good player. He led the team in assists. Sorry, I couldn't speak. He led the team in assists while still missing a huge chunk of time. And maybe, I don't know, he could bounce back. Miracles can happen, people. But the Sharks have...
Injuries have kind of ruined his career.
Injuries kind of ruined his career. Injuries kind of ruined the Sharks.
Is he the case of the Corey Schneider? Let's hope not.
No, because the difference is with Schneider is that he went from starting amazing goalie to AHL goalie. Karlsson more went from best defenseman in the league to good offensive defense.
So PK Subban.
No, because PK Subban went to a bad defenseman. He more went from best defenseman in the league to just a good offensive defenseman.
And we could talk about PK Subban all day. Maybe we will at another point. But
in 3 episodes, we have the Kings after this, and the Ducks, and then we're getting to the Devils.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Then we'll talk about.
We'll really amp it up for that episode.
Oh yeah. But let's go on to what the Sharks should do this offseason, and especially not especially in the draft. What am I talking about?
They have the Tampa Bay Lightning's pick in this draft. They not have their own pick because of the Erik Karlsson trade, but their pick which is Ottawa owns, is at number 3. So I mean, imagine if San Jose had the number 3 pick in the draft right now. They would have had a lot more hope, but they are the definition of a sinking ship franchise.
They're the drunken sailor.
And let me just ask you, who's at the bow of the ship? Who's the owner?
I don't know.
GM? Do we know? We haven't done.
All right,
Doug Wilson. I don't know who the owner is, but Doug Wilson is the GM.
Can we get the owner, please? just do me a favor, get the owner.
Let's look up
All
the
right, so while he's saying the owner, please don't interrupt me. I just want to talk about the San Jose Sharks, something I remember about them. So I was a big Vegas Golden Knights fan before they became good, so don't call me a bandwagon if you do, you're wasting your time. And I have to say that San Jose was one of my worries in the Pacific Division. They were a really strong team. Do you agree before you tell us?
Hazo Plattner is
Hazo Plattner. Don't even know who that is. But he's poor at the bow of this team. Anyway, continue. What do you think of San Jose 2 years ago compared to now?
Well, I mean, I feel like for so long, they kept failing and choking in the playoffs, and it was like, oh, well, they have next year.
Actually, Urinating Tree made a very funny video about them.
Yeah.
We are big fans of Urinating Tree here.
All three of us.
Yeah.
Follow them on YouTube. Urinating Tree, no space. Anyway, continue.
And I mean, they just kept choking every year, and Sharks fans kept saying, and NHL fans kept saying, oh, well, you know, they may have choked this year. They still got next year. But this year, losing Joe Pavelski, it really hurt them. Like, they chose Karlsson, by the way, choosing Karlsson over Pavelski at that contract, Karlsson signed an 8-year contract with an average annual salary of $11.5 million.
Bravo, Sharks!
You deserve a clap. Yeah. All right. There's one thing I do want to say about San Jose that I hope they never change, and I think this quarantine is really making me sad about it because they still have some more home games left. Their stadium, I've never been to it. It seems so cool.
I've never been to it either, but I know people who have, and I've heard great things about
Yeah,
it. I don't think they're moving out of the Shark Tank anytime soon. SAP Center, but I mean, this offseason, they can't really do anything. They can try to trade away pieces, but so many of their players that they would want to trade away have contracts no one's going to want to take. You have Mark-Edward Vlasic, hails as one of the best defensive in the league a few years ago, making $7 million.
And this reminds me of Toronto. The Maple Leafs are going to have the same problem, I think.
Well, the difference is the Maple Leafs are young and are still contenders. The Sharks were third to last in the league and are old.
That's not good.
You know, and they have so many bad contracts. They don't have any cap space to try to improve free agency, and they have no bottom six and no bottom pair. They're really heavy up front, cap wise, and I guess kind of talent wise, but they're not heavy up front like a team like Toronto, where they have 3 legit superstars. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so basically they're on a sinking ship. Their ship has sunk, and they are drowning right now.
Yes. They're the Titanic. They're getting eaten away by bugs in the bottom of the ocean.
That's a great transition to what I think is going to happen to the Sharks, because they can't do anything, but as I said before, they still have some pretty good talent, and they got rocked by injuries. So what I think is going to happen, they're going to be nowhere near the Stanley Cup. Let's be real. Maybe
5 years? No way. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think next year they're gonna jump up more to like middle of the pack,
absolutely.
Jordan, Jacob, I have to say, you think all these teams are going to be middle of the pack next year?
Well, no, I think they're not maybe middle of the pack, but they're
I still think they're going to be bottom 5. They're in terrible shape. Their pick is awful this year. What else do they have wrong with them? All their good players.
No goaltending.
Yeah, no. Oh God! Don't even get me started with
Martin Jones this year. Congratulations, Martin Jones. You were finally consistent, but you were consistently
You
bad.
deserve a gold star.
Gold star.
Good job.
Good job.
Oh yeah.
That's
Reference to last episode, everybody.
That's our new catchphrase here. But let me finish what I was saying, because Jacob kind of already said it for me. But they have too much talent to be as bad as they were this year, especially since they got rocked by injuries this year. If they can come back a little bit healthier next year, they can make significant strides and maybe come back to the middle of the pack as Jacob. So
Cross your fingers on that one, please.
I don't really care about the Sharks.
Well, all right. Well, as somebody who loves Vegas, not as much as the Devils, but almost as much. Always loved Vegas since the day they were announced as a team. I have to say I'm kind of relieved that San Jose is playing like this because they were a threat 2 years ago. First of all, second of all, I think their coaching staff is good. I don't know their names. I don't know anything about them, but I think they're a good coaching staff. I'm being sarcastic, as you know, because they
They have
everything.
no cap space and no draft capital.
And they fired Pete DeBoer mid-season, which, he was not the problem. He was not the problem at all.
What's with all these NHL teams firing their coaches mid-season?
This is just a sports thing. The Cleveland Cavaliers did this a couple of years ago when they have LeBron James on their team. This is a sports thing. Teams fire their head coaches to blame. They blame their head coaches for
They
it.
blame, okay, so sometimes head coaches get the blame, but I feel like a lot of the time the head coaches aren't the problem, except when they are, like John Hines.
Okay, let's not get into John Hines. We had an episode about John Hines. I don't remember when that was. Do you guys remember which episode that John
I don't
Hines?
know, John Hines.
Okay, well, we'll link it in the, should we link it in this? Yeah,
think-
we'll link it in the description. Anyway, moving on, let's talk about something that I want to talk about. 5 years, where do you see San Jose in the standings? There's going to be 32 teams. Where do you see them in the standings?
Finally starting their rebuild, actually, because they have a lot of bad.
Retool. I don't think they're going through a fresh rebuild, do you?
I think they are.
But
Really?
no, okay. Now they're not. Right now they're not rebuilding because they have
too many good
They
players.
have too many good players. Too many.
That's why I'm saying retool, because they have good players that they need to work around.
I mean, no. They're not going to try to be competitive this year. Let's be honest, because they can't try because they don't have cap space or draft capital. Right now, they're in limbo. They cannot do anything. They cannot move from where they are. They will be the definition of mediocre. 5 years down the line, some of these contracts they can probably trade some of these contracts or get rid of them, and they will have more draft capital. So, I mean, 5 years down the line, I see them finally starting their rebuild, and maybe a few years after that, they can be competitive again. But they should definitely fire Douglas.
You know what? In terms of everything going on with San Jose, the one thing I want to say is that they are a funny franchise.
And
One of the most embarrassing NHL franchises.
And do you know what?
Oh,
they're at a very similar state of where they were when they wore those jerseys. Except even worse. The San Jose Sharks have hit rock bottom.
I'm not even sure about that. They've been historically terrible.
And it's not even like last year in Ottawa. Last year's Ottawa Senators, 2018-19 I'm talking about, were historically bad. This year's Detroit Red Wings, or not historically, this year's Detroit Red Wings, historically bad. But at least they have good young players for the future, and a buttload of cap space.
Yeah.
So
The Sharks are as bad as
A boatload of cap space.
a boatload.
Oh yeah, that's a good reference.
Okay,
I just said buttload, but
Oh, I
yeah.
think you said boatload.
Oh, well, I'm changing it now. I'm going to say boatload.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably wrap this
Yeah,
up.
all right, I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Hope you enjoyed being in person and listening to our opinions on the San Jose Sharks. If you disagree with us, which I would laugh if you did, feel free to write down in the comments below. Otherwise, follow us on Instagram, puck_drop that LHS source. That's right.
Puck_drop. That LHS that source.
All right. And follow us on Twitter.
At LHS Puck Drop.
That's right. Feel free to like and subscribe. And, of course, as I said earlier, comment. Let us know what you think of being in person as well, and we'll see you later. Peace.